Hello everybody and welcome to Astrology. I'm going to go through all the 12 signs just in the annual solar eclipse coming up in Aquarius, and I covered this in another video just on the generic themes and the mundane astrology and things that will be coming up. So if you care to look at that video, I'll have that in the link description below. And on Sunday 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, I will be doing my presentation on the annual Lunar New Year of the Yang Fire Horse that is coming up this Sunday evening. And I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who's sent in their dates of birth and times of birth, because I'll go through the personal parts of it, 4 Pillars Chinese astrological charts, in connection with what's coming up in the Lunar New Year for you guys. So I like kind of making it personal, and I'll just give people a little brief rundown on how the Yang Fire Horse is going to interact with your 4 Pillars chart, which is really cool. So anyway, looks like the stock market's getting a bit volatile at the moment, which has been well predicted for this eclipse, but I just throw that in because I just saw a few headlines on this, and I knew from some of the financial astrologers I follow there's some things going on getting stirred up, which is pretty interesting to observe. So anyway, I covered my eclipse analysis in another video, so I'll have that link below, like I said. But I'm just going to catch up on this one just briefly on talking about the 12 rising signs in connection with this eclipse in Aquarius. So I will be covering obviously the 12 signs, and then of course eclipses in Aquarius, we need to pay attention to Saturn and Uranus and where they are placed in our birth natal charts. Uranus is going to be squaring the Sun and Moon at this time, so it's going to affect and rattle this eclipse as well. Saturn is in conjunction obviously now, or very close to. I think tomorrow it might just ingress into Aries, with Neptune. And so it's obviously we need to pay attention to Saturn, because Saturn is the original ruler of Aquarius. So yes, it's the Lunar New Year is going to kick off with a lot of intense energy, because I think I have mentioned in the other video, of course, that a Yang Fire Horse year is a pure 5 pillar year, and fire element does rule the stock market and things like this from a Chinese astrological perspective. So this is going to be an interesting one, and let's just look at Aries, because Aries will be having this eclipse in the 11th house for Aries, the Aries rising, and so this will favor obviously collective group work, mental creativity, social contribution, and idealistic projects. So this eclipse will be squaring Uranus from your second house. So eclipses always reveal things that are hidden, so they can reveal unexpected. With Uranus in the 6th house, it can reveal unexpected expenses that may rattle your financial security potentially, right? I don't mean to freak people out, but this can happen, because eclipses always reveal things that are hidden. And I think I told you one of my eclipse stories. I think it was in one of my other videos, in terms of a taxation problem I got stuck into, which was really revealed in the eclipse cycle. But for Aries rising, they are having it in the 2nd house. The Uranus is squaring in your 2nd house, which rules finances, resources, self-esteem, things like this. And so having Uranus transiting this house, obviously for the Aries rising, can bring some highs and lows financially, and your values can be challenged at this time. So you may find with this eclipse with the eclipse over the next few years, because eclipses play out over periods of time. Things don't really, they can play out around the time, but then we've got to think of the duration of the timing of the eclipse and how long. But I would say within the next 1 to 2 years, There could be highs and lows to do with the finances, and when Uranus is transiting out of house, unexpected windfalls can happen, but then also unexpected losses. So your Aries types might be doing their heads in when it comes to their finance at the moment, going, God, I'm getting all of a sudden break, things looking good, then all of a sudden this happens. There can be extreme swings when Uranus transits that house, right? But you guys have got Saturn in the first house, which can make you take life quite seriously when Saturn is in this house, right? We can feel a lot more intense responsibility in things like this. We start to take life more seriously. We project that serious attitude out into the world. And, questions can arise at this time, like, well, what do I really want and need? What have I learned about myself over the last several years, right? When Saturn comes into this house, right? When it clicks over into the first house. So the more you get in touch with yourself during the next few years, the more successful you will be in the future. So this eclipse will bring people into your life that will help navigate the terrains of your values, financial stability, to bring about your hopes and wishes and dreams to manifest, as obviously the 11th house is connected to wish fulfillment and fulfilling our goals and our wishes and dreams. So Taurus rising will be having this eclipse in the 10th house. So destiny is calling, as this will light up public recognition for you over the next couple of years. So big changes can happen in status and career. This eclipse will be squaring you personally, as it is squaring your first house, which represents you. This can bring a lot of pressure and change. It is squaring the planet Uranus. So this eclipse will also trigger changes and release old, outdated forms and ways of thinking about your career and status to bring in a new and innovative leadership role. This time period greatly favors strong career growth. So there's really good opportunities. It's hard to know how this will manifest for the Taurus, but I would say unexpected blow-ups could actually happen with this eclipse. But obviously as well, when we look at the eclipse in the opposition to the 4th house, so elderly people or parents may require attention under this eclipse as well. So this could come up for as well. The planet Saturn in your 12th house can indicate working and disciplining yourself behind the scenes, right? Because this is where Saturn's placed. When Saturn's in the 12th house, then we can be doing a lot of work behind the scenes that no one really sees. It can also be disciplining our mind and spiritual self and connecting to that source on that level, but in a more grounded and practical way. In a more serious way. We can get serious about spirituality when Saturn enters the 12th. It can also indicate subconscious dreams solidifying and becoming reality after long periods of consistent effort with Saturn in the 12th. So there can also be healing that takes place at this time with subconscious fears, leading to greater spiritual structure within your life. So Saturn is all about structure as well. So this will be interesting for the Taurian type to see what happens, but I would say that over the next few years the career opportunities is going to be interesting. What will happen in terms of career? Gemini will be having this eclipse in the 9th house. The 9th house is connected to ceremonies, higher education, religion, long journeys, and publishing. This eclipse can reveal to you a new source of unconventional wisdom. There can be some dramatic changes with thoughts provoking interest in alternative thinking and exploring different philosophies that you may not have come across before. Interest in travel and foreign lands can be stimulated under this eclipse, and expect to organize some sort of trip within the next year or so, which could happen unexpectedly. Uranus in the 12th also is connected to foreign lands as well. So this can indicate you may have an interest in going places that most people would not want to go to. With Uranus there as well, can stimulate weird and unusual places where you might get interest to go and visit. Saturn in the 11th can indicate wanting to collaborate and socialize with people who can offer worldly advice. Elders who share some knowledge that they themselves have to put honest time into accumulating. So people of wisdom sharing it to you at this time. Obviously this eclipse for the Gemini will be mentally stimulating and possibly open doors for higher education, publishing, teachers who can open your mind to other world views. Cancer will be having this eclipse in the 8th house. The 8th house of psychological digging, intimacy, taxes, wills and inheritances. This eclipse is connected to finances, joint and personal, as the sun rules your 2nd house. Eclipses can reveal things that are hidden, so make sure that you're up to date with loans, payments, and keeping your eye on your taxes, right? This is really, really important at this time. So, just be very, very wary of this and make sure you keep your records and all this kind of stuff up to date. Or you are up to date with payments and things like this, because otherwise you could get caught. This eclipse can reveal some unforeseen expenses on that level as well. So secrets can be secrets at this time, because the 8th house is all about this, can be revealed especially with joint resources and partners under this eclipse. The square to Uranus in the 11th can cause dramatic shifts in your social circles and with friends. Saturn in the 10th will bring status and recognition with your career. It is also a time to take your career or vocation very seriously. And you'll get recognition. With Saturn goes into the 10th, right? You'll get the recognition and reap the rewards if you've been putting in the honest time over the years. And when Saturn kind of clicks over into the 10th, then yeah, a lot more responsibility can come your way. Leo will be having this eclipse in the 7th house. So obviously eclipses are important for a Leo rising because the sun rules your chart, and you got to pay attention to whatever the sun's doing, especially eclipses, because the sun is the lord of your destiny. So you'll experience situations related to relationships, marriage and partnerships. This can bring light and reveal something about your partner that has been hidden. That being a health issue or a partner of your partner, or an aspect of their personality that has not been revealed to you before. Things can come up. I would look deeper into, especially for this, right? Because this eclipse, like I talked about in my previous video, is connected to the astrological decan of the seven of swords in the tarot. So especially in terms of if you think something is a bit dodgy or amiss within your partner, then you need to look into that card and really do your digging into what that card represents. It does not have to be negative either, by the way, but I would definitely look into that. So you can meet your shadow. What I'm trying to say here is you can meet your shadow side of your psyche through others with this eclipse, and the relationship over the next year also will have a powerful effect on your psyche. So it's going to be a time for you to face yourself through others, and this will be a test of your commitment, not only to your partner but to yourself. Because obviously relationships are mirrors, and then we get reflected what's people show. We get to understand ourselves through others, right? So it's a good time to explore our own shadows and what's been hidden within ourselves at this time. The square to the sun and moon to Uranus from the 10th can indicate sudden changes at work and your status at this point in time. And the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in the 9th can indicate building alliances as you are approaching the peak of your ambitions, and your efforts should start to bear fruit. And as Saturn rules your 7th house as well, might as well throw this in, and transiting the 9th, it can be a good time to plan a trip with your partner for some time out. Virgo will be having this eclipse in the 6th house. This is the house of health, work, diet, service, and daily routines. this eclipse can give rise to structural changes within the work environment over the next year or so. So daily routines can change as this eclipse is squaring Uranus to the 9th. So you may have to suddenly travel for work or adopt a new way of thinking. Thinking outside the box, right? When Uranus is in this house under this eclipse. Expect shifts in career opportunities, and job stability may feel unstable at this point. It can certainly rattle your normal daily routine, indicating changes at work, and you may have to break free from the 9 to 5 routine, which can be a positive for some people who've had enough of that. But if you like the stability and control, this could rattle things a little bit. Health is always important to watch, as this eclipse is in the house of health. So pay attention to diet in particular, because Mars is actually in this house as well, currently transiting. So eating on the run and things like this can definitely disturb your digestive system. Saturn-Neptune conjunction is in the 8th house during this eclipse as well. So this can give free-floating anxiety around the issue to do with intimacy at this time. It can also lead to confusion in areas that are very important to get clarity on, and particularly to do with health and your emotions if they're not addressed. So work routines can help keep you grounded at this time. So, try and keep yourself really grounded in work situations. Libra will be having this eclipse in the 5th house. So this is the house of romance, dating, inner child, play, creativity, and risk-taking. So passionate portals can really open up under this eclipse, right? And can reveal where we may have had blocks in our creative potential and romantic life, and what we're willing to take a risk on that leads to a greater sense of fulfillment. This eclipse is squaring Uranus in the 8th, which can shake up and bring issues to do with taxes, bonds, inheritance, wills, and partners' money. There can be surprise windfalls that can happen with Uranus here. Expect the unexpected. The challenge with this eclipse is that Saturn-Neptune conjunction is in the 7th house, ruling the 5th. So this can make playtime, which is a 5th house activity, quite conservative, especially in the romantic arena, right? Because the 5th house rules romance, fun and play and dating and things like this. But obviously if Saturn's ruling this, then, love can become really serious, right? And I think, or you're after a serious commitment. And then with the conjunction to Neptune, you need to be aware of people, if you're starting to date someone, to appear to be something that they're not. So on the flip side, people will date, I think, at this time look for something serious. And eclipses in the 5th can bring someone to you. So if you're in a committed relationship, this eclipse will bring up the question, am I having enough fun? Am I, enjoying my relationship? Are we making enough time to create and, do things together, play and have hobbies, just in order to create that work, the balance between this, to bring the fun back into the times with your partner. Scorpio will be having this eclipse in the 4th house for the Scorpio rising. So this is going to be a pretty private eclipse for you guys. The house of family and emotional foundation, ancestral roots, family members, these kind of things. And something can get revealed about your family members, and deep inner resources within oneself can be opened, right, during this eclipse. 4th house is quite deep, and parents and ancestral lineage can become important, as well as where you are living, because we're talking about the home as well. So you guys have got Mars and Pluto transiting this house, which can be a busy time. So when Pluto goes through the 4th, there can be renovations going on at home. There can be tradesmen, because Mars can indicate tradesmen. Mars is at the time where you battle, so there can be a lot of battles on the home front, arguments and disagreements with family as well. Uranus transiting the 7th, squaring the Sun and Moon in the 4th, 4th house can show challenges with spouse, most likely bringing up issues around the freedom closeness dilemma, right? So when Uranus is in the 7th, it's an interesting dynamic. And with that square, You may have times where you want to spend time with your partner, then you're with them, and then you just want to get away from them. That's the freedom closeness dilemma. Where whatever house Uranus is in usually demands space. So this can bring on and off, back and forth situations in relationships, and space is needed and required for healing. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction in the 6th house indicates you need to pay attention to your health at this time, as stress in relationships and in family can indicate health crisis if your emotions are not balanced. So Saturn in the 6th can make one want to be busy at work and to put in solid time and effort to achieve. And there will be transformations on the home front, definitely, over the next 6 months, a year or so. Sagittarius will be having this eclipse in the 3rd house, the house of learning, short courses, communications, new ideas, websites, podcasts, new vehicles and cars, because the 3rd house rules out neighbors and siblings. So this eclipse can unite innovative thoughts, stimulate new ideas, communications and movement. This is the 3rd house, is the mind. Has the traditional ruler as Gemini. So the square from the Sun and Moon to Uranus in the 6th can indicate new and innovative ways to connect to your body for health routines. Uranus in the 6th suggests we need to think outside the box when it comes to health. So it's a good time to try alternative health modalities if you have not tried them before. One of the good things about you having Uranus in the 6th, if there's health issues going on, they may come on quickly and really go quickly. But I have noticed too, in the myths, it's connected to the Furies, and it can be related to a lot of allergies and things like this can come up with Uranus in the 6th house. The 3rd house is very mental, and square to Uranus from the 6th can cause tension and stress within the body and mind as well. A lot of tension can get created with Uranus in this difficult angle. And as Uranus rules technology, and in the 6th house, the house of work, there could be some technical outages at this time. So just make sure you back things up to prevent crashing of systems and things like this. This is kind of more personal for you, but even on a collective level, in the other video I talk about that, because eclipses in Aquarius can be, Aquarius rules electricity, Uranus and things like this, so always back things up because there's always high chance of outages. Saturn-Neptune conjunction can show where we are bringing something concrete and tangible when it comes to with a creative hobby at this time. And there can end up being new skills in the area of communication will happen over the next 6 months to a year, and you may upgrade your skills to further enhance productivity at work. Capricorn rising will be having this eclipse in the 2nd house, the house of resources, that being inner resources and financial resources. So this can show a glimpse of the future when it comes to your finances, right? So unexpected things can happen in the financial realm with this eclipse. So you may feel the urge to make an investment under this eclipse. Just be mindful that eclipse is not the best time to do it, especially if people have just been paying attention to what I was saying before, what's going on. The markets are pretty unstable at the moment, as they always are around eclipses. So just be mindful of that. The 2nd house is also about self-worth, and this can be a time to innovate your self-esteem and your own personal values. This eclipse may reveal a part of yourself that needs to be worked on in order to level up and feel inspired over the next year or so. And Uranus squared the Sun and Moon in the 5th. This may stimulate an interest in cryptocurrency, as crypto is really ruled by that, but there is a Venus connection to this as well, which I'll talk about this in a separate video. But generally, I guess crypto does rule this in a way because it's quite innovative, it's new, it's quite unstable, it's up and down. But I think with this kind of connection going on, just it can be thinking of new innovative ways to invest and earn your money. It would definitely also draw new creative sparks and sudden romance, or dating people that are quite different from the types you usually go for with Uranus in the 5th. So don't be afraid to take a creative risk when it comes to a creative project or business idea that will potentially come to fruition over the next few years. Saturn and Neptune conjunction in the 4th, which rules your 2nd house, may indicate investing in property or land, potentially by water, right? Neptune rules the seas. Be interesting to see how that plays out for you, the Capricorn rising. Saturn Neptune also indicates building your dream. It sits in the 4th, so it can be building your dream home. Aquarius rising will be having this eclipse in the 1st house. So this eclipse is really all about you, right? The 1st house is about the self. If this eclipse is close to your rising sign, it will be a significant and a good time to pay attention to your health, right? And I've noticed this a lot. So just be mindful of this thing, because the eclipses can really affect the body. And if it's in close degree with whatever your ascendant degree is, you need to pay particular attention to your what's going on with your chart. So if your health is not good, just pay extra attention, right? So this the 1st house is about you. Obviously, it's your body, your immediate environment, and what you do first thing in the morning, actually, when you wake up. But this is an identity eclipse for you, and you can see big changes within yourself over the next few years. The Sun rules your 7th, so there can be relationship opportunities, as you will see under this eclipse. Uranus square the Sun and Moon from the 4th can indicate sudden changes on the home front. Sudden moves can be triggered as in house location. Old ties can be broken in connection to family roots. So problems and tensions can arise that have not been dealt with in your personal life, most likely will surface now. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction can bring up issues to do with siblings and neighbors. If so, make sure you see the reality of the situation, as this combination can make you see things unclearly, right? This aspect can also bring up some mental stress, but also use your imagination to bring ideas into reality. That's the classic Neptune Saturn kind of key words is bring your ideas into practical reality. The Pluto and Mars are also in the 1st house, so there can be huge transformations for you at this time, and a complete change of how you view yourself and your own identity at this time. Pluto going through the 1st is monumental. Huge shifts, especially when it clicks over from the 12th and into the 1st. Pisces will be having this eclipse in the 12th house. So this eclipse is around spirituality, inner wisdom, retreat, sleep, rest, and the unconscious mind. This eclipse can help reveal past life karma, which will shed light on hidden aspects within your psyche. Spiritual upgrades are possible if you have been doing honest inner work, right? Uranus is squaring your Sun and Moon from the 12th. This can disrupt communication between siblings, and there can also be disruptions with journeys around town, as the 3rd house tends to rule that. The mind can operate with speed at this time, right? Especially when Uranus is transiting the 3rd. So it can be difficult to ground the mind, or the mind can get really highly strung. But you can also receive sudden flashes of insight that can happen through the unconscious mind being in connection to the 12th. So dream life and sleep patterns can be disruptive. Secrets can get exposed at this time through avenues of communication. 12th house is all about secrets and hidden enemies. The Sun-Neptune conjunction in the 2nd house can make you budget and work hard for your money. And the planet Neptune can indicate working for a dream you have, right? So watch for psychic overload at this time. This eclipse will prompt you really to, in the direction of what needs to be sanitized within your own psyche, right? Over the next year or so. So there can be karmic closure at this time from personal bad habits due to self-undoing. Because the 12th house it's all about self-undoing. And rest and recuperation will be needed at this time. So retreats will be beneficial for health and healing. So there we have it, the 12 rising signs, and I will see everyone live for the Young Fire Horse Sunday evening.